afternoon. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Also, be sure to ring that bell down below to get notified every time I have new content. Today, we're going to be making a fun fold card. It's a multi-flap gift card holder. Stay tuned. Hi y'all, this is Susan Lee Rose, and today I'm going to show you how to make this really cool card that has all of these extra flaps that open up. And when you open it up, it looks like this. It has a tag that a gift card can fit into, just like that. So it is a extra special gift card with this cute little belly band that holds it all closed. So are y'all ready to get started? All right. Okay, so we're going to be using this brand new stamp set from Maymay Made It. It's called Bee-lieve. So cute. Lots of little scriptures, the cute little bees, the honey. Isn't that so adorable? I love this. We're also going to be using the Tulla and Norbert's Sweetest Honey by PhotoPlay. Really cute papers. I absolutely love this pattern right here. And the sunflowers, which are my favorite, I absolutely love. So this is a really cute paper pad that we're going to be using. Set that over the way. You're also going to need some cardstock. We're going to be using the Lunchbag cardstock for the card base. We're also going to use the Alabaster cardstock from Brutus Monroe. All of these are from Brutus Monroe. The Corn Maze by Brutus Monroe, and the Raven. So you're going to need to make some cuts. So we're going to go over what you're going to need for the card base. So you're going to need a piece of the Lunchbag that is 8.5 by 5.5, and you're going to score it at 2 1/8 and 6 3/8. You're going to need 2 pieces of the Lunchbag cardstock. This one is cut 1 7/8 by 5.5, and then we're going to score these at 1/4. And you're also going to need 2 that are cut to 1 5/8 by 5.5, and we're going to score this at 1/4 inch as well. Then to put this all together, we're going to need to have 2 pieces of the dot paper. This one is going to go, one of these is going to go into the center of the card, and one of these we're just going to turn over and we're going to put onto the back of the card just to kind of give it a little bit of more decoration, I guess. Then we're going to need 4 pieces of the sunflower print paper. It's cut to 1 1/8 by 5 1/4. All of these measurements will be down in the description box below, so you'll be able to see all of that. You're going to need 4 pieces of this honeycomb, and it is cut to 1 3/8 by 5 1/4. You're going to need 2 pieces of the black floral and 2 pieces of the yellow chevron. And these are cut to 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 as well. For the tag, you're going to need 2 pieces of the alabaster. You're going to need one that is cut to 5 by 3 inches, and then you're going to need one that is cut 2 3/4 by 3. You're also going to need a piece of ribbon. I cut it about 8 inches. You can use whatever ribbon works for you. This is what I just chose because I think it looks nice with everything else. And that is also for the tag. For the inside sentiment, you're going to need a piece of alabaster that's going to be cut 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And then we have a belly band. And the belly band, you're going to need a piece of the Raven that is cut 1 3/4 by 11. And then you're going to need 2 pieces, and these can just be scrap pieces. I put a measurement down just so you know. For punching out the circles, I just did them 3 by 3. And we have corn maze and alabaster. So those are all the pieces that we need to create this very cute little card here. I think it turned out so cute. So are y'all ready to get started? Okay, so let me get sat down here and let's get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is we need to go ahead and score these pieces that are not yet scored. Move all that away. I went ahead and scored this piece, so it is already scored, but we need to score the rest of the pieces for the card base. And then I'm going to show you how to put the card base all together. It's really simple. It looks a lot more complicated than it really is. Okay, so we're going to score all of these pieces for these extra flaps at 1/4 inch. And I can't pick them up because my fingernails, for some reason, do not like trying to pick up things off of this board. So we're just doing 1/4 inch on these 4 flaps. Oops, that one's kind of crooked on me. That one moves on me for some reason. Let's see if we can get the score good. There we go. All right, so we can just set the scoreboard aside because we've already got everything else scored. So we're going to start by assembling this card base. So I'm just going to fold we're starting with just basically with a gatefold card. So you're just going to fold those flaps in. Now these flaps, we're going to call these flaps 3. So when I start talking about the different flaps, you know, if I say flap 3, I'm talking about the part that's actually attached to the card base. So now we're going to take these other 4 pieces and we're just going to score those down and get them kind of good, nice and burnished flat. We're going to do that on all of them. This is a really simple card to do. It looks a lot more complicated, but it's really simple and it just makes an extra special card. Get all of those laid flat. All right, so we're now going to get this card assembled. So we're going to take the 2 of the ones that are the larger ones, and they're going to get glued on first onto the card, the basic card base. So we're just going to need a little bit of our Barely Art glue here. And I'm just going to put a thin little stream here. And we're just going to attach that to, see the card's folded closed. The gated card is folded closed. We're going to mount that right here on the front, making sure it's even at the top and here on the sides. And then I'm just going to take a couple of clips here to hold that in place while it dries a little bit. That way it's nice and flat and it's stuck well. So we're going to do the same thing on this one. Just put a little bead of glue. And we're just going to turn this over and we're just going to mount that right there to the front. Making sure it's even again right here and down here at the bottoms, at the top of the bottom of the card. And we're just going to go ahead and clip those as well. Just to kind of hold it in place while the glue sets up a little bit. Now we're going to take these smaller flaps, put a bead of glue down one side. And we're going to take these clamps off here. And we're just going to attach this right on top of that flap 2. This is what we're calling flap 1 right here, because it's the first flap you see. We're just going to line this other side up. Just a matter of getting everything lined up nice and neatly and then clamping it down so that the glue will set up. Now it doesn't have to set up and dry fully. You just want it to be tacky enough that it's not going to move when you're doing the next steps. So again, the second flap 1 will go over here on this side. And again, you're just wanting to make sure you line up the tops and the bottoms and then along the side so it looks nice and neat. And these flaps look nice and neat on the inside there as well, because we don't want them to be all crookedy and stuff like that. So I don't know, is crookedy a word? It's a word at my house. Get that nice and even. Okay, so we're just going to clamp those down. So then what I generally do is I will take the clamps off because I don't want any excess glue gluing the flaps down. So I'll look and make sure that there's not any excess glue. And if there's not, then I'll just go ahead and clamp that back closed for just a couple of minutes. Make sure that gets good and stuck without, there's a little bit of glue. There we go. So the card base is now assembled. So as you can see, it has a flap that opens like this. Then this is flap 1, flap 2, and then flap 3 where it opens. And there's a whole lot of different ways that you can decorate this card. I'm doing it pretty simple, but you could put sentiments and all kinds of different things on each of the different flaps. Mine, I'm doing really plain because I don't know exactly who this is going to go to. This isn't a planned card for any one person. It's just a card that I'm making. And so I wanted to kind of make it a little more generic. So the first thing that we're going to do now is that we need to start assembling all of the different papers, or not assembling them, but putting them onto the card. So for the center part, this is going to be a pocket that's going to hold our tag with our gift card. So I'm going to punch out a little bit out of the top. This is just a 1-inch circle stamp. I'll turn it upside down so I can see it a little better and kind of make sure I get it kind of centered. I'm eyeballing it. So it makes it a little notch so that you can get the gift card out a little bit better. So when we glue this in here, we're just going to glue it down the 2 sides and the bottom. We're not going to glue it across all of it or across the top because we want this to be a little pocket for our tag. I am just going to put the glue down, and then we're going to try very hard to make sure I get it nice and centered inside the card here. And once I get that down nice and evenly, I just go in with a rag and kind of clean up any of the glue and kind of press along. I find that cleans it up really nicely. And so then we're going to take the other piece of the polka dot and we're just going to put it on the back. I just think it made the card a little more finished to put it on some paper on the back. A lot of times, most of the times I should say, I don't bother putting anything on the back of the card other than a stamp with my information on it. But this card, because it's got so much paper on it, it kind of looked bare without doing this. So I wanted to go on and put some paper on here to make sure that it looks nice and finished. You can go with or without this, it's up to you. All right, so the center part is done and the back is done. So now we're going to start putting the papers in onto the different flaps. So this is flap 1, this is flap 2, and this is flap 3. So we can understand how we're doing this. So the paper here, that's the sunflower, these are going to go on the front and the back of flap 1. And it's just a matter of just gluing them down on there. We'll get that done really quick. This card has so many cuts to it and so much paper, smallish pieces of paper. So I'm trying to make sure I make the instructions really clear so it doesn't get confusing. All right, so we got that on flap 1 on the front. We're going to put another piece of this onto flap 1, the front, the other side, the right side. I always, for some reason, I feel like that when I do them like this, they go on, I get them on a lot straighter. I'll do it like that. So the fronts of flap 1 is done. So now we're going to do the interior of flap 1. And again, we're just going to be using the same paper. I love sunflowers. So when I saw this set, first of all, the bee theme and the gnomes and the sunflowers, oh my goodness, that's just like right up my alley. I could not wait to get this kit. So we're going to just get that into place, and we're going to do the same thing on the interior of flap 1. get these sunflower pieces put in. Such pretty paper. I don't know if I've ever bought a PhotoPlay kit before. I'm an Echo Park and Cartabella paper girl. This is really, I think, the first of the PhotoPlay I've ever got, and I have to say I'm really impressed. I'm going to probably be buying more. All right, so now we're going to go in with this yellow honeycomb, and that's going to go on flap 2 on the outside and the inside on both sides. We're just going to glue that down. And this paper on the other side, adorable. I'm just loving this kit. I'm glad that there were 2 sheets of this paper because I got to use this bee paper somewhere. All right, so we're going to mount that onto the flap. Flap 2, the front sides of flap 2. It's going to cover that seam where we attached the card base together. So cute. Now, I am more concerned with making sure that it's even with the front of the flaps, because when you lay it forward, that's what you're going to see. You're not necessarily going to notice that it's crooked over here or whatever. So I want to make sure those are even. So when you fold the flaps over, you have it even on both sides. So now we're going to do the interior of flap 2. I love liquid glue because it gives you that little bit of time for some wiggle room. Wiggle it around and get it in place just right. Get that laid down into place. So now we're going to be working on flaps 3. These are the original gatefold flaps attached to the card. So the exterior is going to be this black floral, and then the interior is going to be this chevron. So let's get the black floral pieces into place. And remember, we want it more even on this side if we have to have any question, because it's going to be what shows through, and we want it to show through evenly. Make sure I'm putting these in the same side so they don't look like they're upside down. I think that's the correct way there. Some papers you can tell by the back side what direction they're supposed to go, but since we have this stripe on the back side, it's kind of hard to tell. I just want the pattern going in the same direction so it doesn't look odd. Okay, we're going to get this one placed in. Again, we want that whatever's showing through here on the lip is even. I think this needs to shift down just a hair. All right, so we have the card. Looks like this so far. Really cool looking. All right, now we're going to put the pattern paper onto the interior flap of flap 3. This one, again, you'll see what I mean. It has, the back side has an upside down, or it has a direction that helps you to get the piece on the other side matched with each other, so they're not looking like, oh, that one's upside down and one's straight. So we're going to get this piece in here, wipe off this extra glue, wiggle it into place. We're going to do the same thing with the other side, of the right side of flap 3. really juicy. There you go. All right, so we have gotten all of the papers added to the card base. So this is what we've got so far. Really cute. All right, so we're gonna set that aside for a minute, and we are going to put together the pocket for the tag, excuse me, for the gift card to fit in. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna take this piece of paper, which is the 2 3/4 by, this is 3 inch by 2 3/4. And we're just going to glue that along 3 sides to the tag base. So we're just gonna go 3 sides. We're gonna do the sides and the bottom. And we're just going to glue that to the bottom of the tag and just shift it around so it's nice and flat and even. And we're just going to kind of let that dry. So now you have the little pocket to put your gift card in. So now we need to go in here, and I'm going to take my We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile Corner Chopper, and we're going to use the scallop side. And I'm just going to take the top of the tag, and I'm just going to chomp those corners with the scallop to just form the top part of the tag. And then I'm just going to go in there, and I'm going to use my eyelet setter and hole puncher from We Are Memory Keepers as well. I want this to be centered on this piece of paper. So this is about 2.5 inches. So we want to mark a place that is about 2 1/4 inches. Grab my pencil. You know how it goes, everything goes missing. Let's see, that hasn't ink. Okay, so we're going to go 2 1/4 inches. And so I'm just going to kind of mark where that would be. And then I'm just going to go in there with my hole punch, and I'm going to use the larger one. I've already set it for the depth. That's why I like these, is because you can set the depth of how deep you want your hole to be. So you can, if you're stamping duplicates of something, you can get it just right. So we got the hole punch. Now I like to go over and enlarge that hole just a little bit by kind of going on either side, and kind of a little bit up to the top and a little bit here at the bottom. Make a bigger hole, because I'm using a thicker ribbon that it can be kind of hard sometimes to get it through the smaller hole. So we're just going to take this ribbon, and it's just some that I picked up from Dollar Tree. This burlap ribbon. They had a whole bunch of different ones that have different kind of designs, but it's all burlap. And I use a lot of stuff. I mean, probably 90% of the cards I make, I use this Lunchbag cardstock on. I just love it. So this was a really good match. I picked up a bunch of different ones of those. So we're just going to feed this through the hole. I can get it folded so we can get it through that hole. There we go. And it will slightly enlarge the hole because it's a lot bigger. Open that up. We're just going to feed those ends through there. And we're just going to tighten that up. Just like that. And so I'll just trim these off probably right here. Well, I'll just get my cuttery scissors, and we're just going to kind of trim that off right there. So there, the tag is now complete. And when it dries and this fully dries, this will slip right here into this pocket, and a gift card will fit right in here. But I don't want to mess with doing anything like that right now, because I want that glue to set up fully. So we are on the home stretch, y'all. So now that we've got that done, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp the sentiments that go on the inside of the card here. I'm going to get my Misty. Move my magnets out of the way. So I'm going to pull out our stamp set. This is, again, the Bee-lieve stamp set from Maymay Made It. Really, really cute. I love those little bees. And I'm going to take this one that says, "May you be blessed today and always." And it's going to go down here, kind of in the bottom corner. And then I'm going to get one of these cute, cute little bees, this little one right here. And I'm going to kind of just set him over here, up in the corner, like he's flying around. And we are going to stamp this. So let me pick up those stamps. I'll recenter that. And we're just going to be using my Memento ink here. This is just the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. This is probably what I use, probably 90% of the time when I'm stamping. This one is need of re-inking, or I need to get a new one. It's starting to get a little dry. So we're going to stamp that into place. I'm going to open it up, and it actually stamped pretty good, but I'm going to go ahead and re-ink it just because this ink is a little bit dry and I want it just a little bit crisper. So we're just going to stamp that down like that. All right. So the interior of the card is finished. Let me take these off. Let me take a quick second and clean them off. Spray some of the ink here, or the cleaner on the pad. I just take a block, put the stamps on there, and I can actually get them both on here so I can clean them both at the same time. And I'm just going to clean them. I love this cleaning system. It cleans the stamps so well. I'm just going to leave them on here, and I'll put them all back on the acetate here in a little bit. And I use the Brutus Monroe Squeaky Clean. I really like it. And this was a limited edition scent. It was chocolate covered cherry. And let me tell you, this stuff smells delicious. Really, really good. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. So now we're going to color Mr. B. And we're going to be using, I think it will use 405. I'm going to be using the Nuvo alcohol markers. This is 405 Indian Saffron. And I'm just going to color Mr. B in. I'm not going to be really doing any shading because it's such a small image that the shading doesn't really show up that much anyway. So I've got that colored in, and then I'm going to go in with my Wink of Stella. This is just my clear Wink of Stella. You could use any glitter brush pen or anything like that. And I'm just going to kind of color in the wings so there's a little bit of sparkle on the inside of the card. And I'm going to just get a fine tipped pen. This is just a micron, a Pigma micron. It's a 005. And I'm just going to make a little bee trail from the quote all the way to the bee. Just kind of tracing it around. Just like that. Just to add that little cute detail. And you still have plenty of room to write a little note or sign or anything like that. So we're going to glue that down into the front of the card here. We're just going to get our Barely Art glue, glue that into place. It's just going to fit like that. Even border on both sides and on the bottom. How cute is that? So now we need to make the belly band. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the black cardstock that we're using for the belly band, and this is cut at 1 3/4 by 11. And so I'm just going to wrap this around. And you need to remember that the interior, that there's going to be that extra bulk from the gift card. So you want to make it a little bit loose. You don't want to make it super, super tight. You want to leave that little bit of wiggle room so you can get the belly band on and off very, very easily. So I kind of measure it around the card itself, and then I just go in there and I get it where it's laid flat, and I just go ahead and burnish those corners. And so we're just going to glue the belly band together. I just put a little bit of glue right there, and then close the belly band, get it nice and tight. I go in there and clean off that glue a little bit, and we're going to let that dry while we move on to the next steps. So we are now going to pull out our punches that we're going to be using. We're going to be using the 2-inch circle scallop and the 1 3/4 circle. So out of the 2-inch scallop, we're going to just cut out of the yellow, the corn maze yellow. So we can set that aside now, so we have that cut. So then we're going to take the 1 3/4 inch and we're going to cut a piece out of the white. And we're going to start stamping our image. Now I chose to use, for the image, for the belly band, I chose to use the little jar of honey. And the reason is I kind of thought it was funny, since you're making this into a gift card holder. So it's like, honey, here's your money. It's kind of what I thought about. So we're going to put this, we're going to stamp it onto the little white circle. You're just going to get that centered onto the circle here. And we're just going to pick that up, take the circle down. I always flip to the other side in case there's any ink that's left over on here, although I did clean it, so it shouldn't have been. And we're just going to stamp that again with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And we have it nice and stamped. Very cute. Now I can't get a hold of it. There we go. And I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to color in our image here. All right, so now we're going to attach this to the front of the scalloped piece of scalloped paper there. And you know, another thing that you could do that would have been cute too, because this is a scalloped, you could put a big brown center on the inside and made it a sunflower. You probably could have just used this 1-inch circle stamp punch. My brain is dead. We could have put that and just made a sunflower on the inside as well, but I thought the little image was cute. So we're going to attach this to the front side. We're going to put the side that's glued together towards the back. We're going to put this on the front side with a little bit of double-sided tape. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball how much I need. To stick there. And I'm just going to kind of center that onto the belly band itself. Kind of make it centered on there. Looks off. Here we go. Just kind of on there on the center. And then I'm just going to mount the image right on top of that sticky double-sided tape, foam tape, mounting tape. And so now the belly band is complete, And so we can just slip that onto the card. If I can pick it up. Now, how cute is that? And then you just add our little tag in here. So let's go ahead and put the tag in there. Has the pocket for the gift card. I don't have a gift card here handy, but you can just stick a piece of, oh here, I put the ruler in there. You can see that there's a pocket. So the pocket is in there to be able to slip the gift card. That just in turn slips right into here with just a little bit of this tag sticking up at the top. And then I just slide this on to the bottom here. The belly band. And look, finished project. Isn't this so cute? And it really, as you can see, it doesn't take that long to get done. So that is our project for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you liked this project, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. And if you don't mind, if you see that bell down below, give it a ring, because every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings and you get notified when I give you new projects. Hope y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Cute.